The pharmacy was quiet that cold evening, the kind of silence that makes every sound echo. Emily stood at the counter, her hands trembling as she clutched a small bottle of medicine. The fluorescent lights above buzzed faintly, and her tired eyes darted toward the price tag. $87. Her heart sank. Her son, Liam, only 6 years old, had been struggling with severe asthma for weeks, and this was the only medicine that could help him breathe through the night. She reached into her worn-out purse, her fingers brushing past a few coins in a folded grocery receipt. She had counted it twice before leaving the house, $52. It wasn't enough. She swallowed hard, trying to hold back the lump forming in her throat as she looked up at the cashier. "I'm sorry," she whispered, voice barely audible. "Could you maybe hold this for me? I'll come back when I have the rest." The young cashier, maybe 20, gave her a sympathetic look but shook her head. "I'm sorry, ma'am, company policy. We can't hold prescriptions once they're processed." Emily nodded slowly, her chest tightening. She wasn't angry, just exhausted. Life had been one long chain of, almost enough. Behind her in line stood a man, mid-40s, neatly dressed in a winter coat and scarf, holding a prescription bag of his own. He'd watched the whole scene silently, the desperation in Emily's voice cutting deeper than he expected. Something about her reminded him of his late wife, how she used to stand strong even when everything around her was falling apart. As Emily turned to leave, clutching her purse and blinking away tears, the man spoke softly, his voice steady and kind. "Excuse me, miss," he said. She turned, startled. "Put it on my bill," he told the cashier. For a moment, the world seemed to pause. Emily stared at him, her mouth slightly open, unsure if she heard him right. The cashier looked between them, uncertain. The man nodded firmly. "Please," he said again, "add it to my bill." Emily shook her head quickly, panic and pride mixing inside her. "No, no, I can't let you do that. You don't even know me." Her voice cracked, and the embarrassment of being seen at her lowest moment flushed her cheeks. But the man just smiled, a soft, understanding smile. "You don't need to know someone to help them," he said. "I've been where you are." Tears welled up in Emily's eyes before she could stop them. "But, it's so much money," she whispered. "You don't have to." He interrupted gently, "It's okay. Just promise me something. When you can, help someone else. That'll be enough." Her lips quivered as she tried to speak, but all she could manage was a broken, "Thank you." The words felt too small for what he had done. The cashier quietly rang it up and handed her the bag. Emily held it tightly against her chest, as if it were something sacred. She didn't even ask for his name, she was too overwhelmed, too caught between gratitude and disbelief. When she got home, Liam was curled up on the couch under a blanket, his breathing shallow but steady. "Mom," he murmured, barely opening his eyes. She knelt beside him and showed him the medicine. "We got it, sweetheart," she said softly. "You'll feel better soon." That night, as she watched her son sleep peacefully for the first time in days, Emily silently promised herself she'd find a way to pay the kindness forward someday. Months later, spring arrived, and life, though still difficult, began to find a rhythm again. Emily found a part-time job at a small diner, enough to cover rent and groceries. One rainy evening, an elderly woman walked in, drenched and shivering. She ordered a cup of coffee and realized she had forgotten her wallet. The look of quiet panic on her face was all too familiar. Emily didn't hesitate. She smiled and said, "Don't worry about it, ma'am. It's on me." As the woman's eyes softened in relief, Emily felt a warmth bloom in her chest, the same warmth she'd felt that winter night in the pharmacy. Later, as she cleaned the counter, she thought of the man who had helped her. She still didn't know his name, but his words echoed in her mind. You don't need to know someone to help them. Somewhere out there, she hoped, he knew that his kindness had not ended at that pharmacy counter, it had started something much bigger. And in a quiet corner of the city, a man in a winter coat sat by his window, sipping tea and smiling faintly as he thought of a young mother and her little boy, hoping they were doing all right. He didn't need to know their names either. Some acts of kindness don't need to be remembered, they just need to be repeated.